play sometimes.
Gotcha.
Oh, first things first, I made the walls invisible in the townhouse, so you guys should be able to see all the rooms. Is that correct?
I see some of them, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Alright, perfect. You
Called
guys...
scroll.
Yeah, you guys don't need limited vision in your own house. I'm pretty sure you guys have figured out what your house looks like at this point.
There's a couple areas that are still blocked out, but
it's fine.
It's discovery mode. So as soon as we walk into those areas, they become visible.
Ah, okay. Because I made all the walls invisible. So.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as you walk in. Yep.
That should fix all of that. The stairs might still glitch out. I have no excuses. I haven't fixed it yet. Alright, so who wants to talk about what happened last game?
We died.
What? Oh yeah, that's right, we did.
We found out we died.
And the afterlife is a bureaucratic nightmare.
And then we signed a contract to survive? Question mark?
For adventure.
Yeah.
We signed our souls away in service of doing some good in exchange for something.
A couple of different offers on the table. Catered. The sales pitch was catered to each of your characters.
Then we got sent to our new house that we're apparently going to live in. I guess that's what you do with houses.
Yep.
And we got to know each other a little bit to figure out who each other were, and that's kind of where we left off, sitting at a table.
We all found unique items in our room?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
And we proceeded to get drunk.
Many of you got drunk. It's true.
Or in Gideon's case, drunker.
Also true.
But he was uncomfortably sober during the whole encounter in the afterlife, so he's making up for lost time.
Was it you that was drinking the snake juice?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
The potent stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna start the game with a Constitution saving throw for that.
By all means. It's gonna take me a minute to find Gideon's voice while I'm eating. Constitution save?
Yep.
Nine.
This is the good shit. You're not drunk, but you've got a good buzz going on from a very small amount.
Oh, I'm going to take my time with this.
So is there anything anyone wants to do on that first night?
I'd like to find, not so much well, if there's a library, great, but I'd like to find books.
Sure.
I think I found some from
there is a small library
that I'm looking at.
There is a small library down on the first floor. Right around here. I don't know if I can ping it or how to at this point. I'll just drag you there.
Okay, that'll work.
Or I won't.
Beware of walls.
Yeah, is it easier with a round token or a square token? Because I seem to bounce into everything.
I don't know.
Does it not even matter?
It doesn't matter.
You just gotta move through the doors.
Yeah, you gotta move through the doors, and if you're upstairs, what you can do is if you go back to the other section of the map where it's downstairs, you can put a new token and it will get rid of your old token.
And an odd question, is there an easier way to scroll up and down the page than zooming in? Because if I zoom in, all I'm doing is going to a part where I'm not on.
Yep, so
right click and move the map around.
Yeah, you have to hold your right click, hold it down, and then slide it, and it'll slide the map. And then you use your middle scroll to zoom in and out.
Gotcha. Thank you. Oh, you young kids and your newfangled mises.
All right, so
I feel in my 50 today.
what sort of books are you looking for?
Well, I'm an explorer in a strange land for all intents and purposes, so I'm just looking to see what's there.
Sure.
Get a feel for what I have available to me.
Roll an investigation check.
All right. Advantage, it's normal. 7. Wow, I am feeling that juice I was drinking.
Yeah, you're a little dizzy. You think you spot a book that says The Multiverse in You, but that feels like too much work tonight. Feeling a little tired.
Don't see anything with, not that I expected to see anything with my own name, but do I see anything with names that I recognize?
No, most of this is about
No.
interdimensional travel and things like that.
Gotcha. And more than likely, I will probably sit in that back chair and just kind of contemplate what's going on.
Sounds good.
Probably fall asleep.
Anyone else have any plans for your first night in your house?
No, not really. I think Marcus is probably gonna go to his quote-unquote room, which he picked the one that was next to Gideon. So Gideon had the right side, Marcus had the left side. And is there like a closet in the room?
Yeah, each of these like large wooden blocks is a wardrobe.
Okay. If I open it, is there anything in it, or is it?
Yeah, there's several outfits that are hung there. Most of them seem to be your style, but definitely from different time periods.
Gotcha. Okay. With that being said, I think with that he would probably just kind of lay down and go to sleep, given that, you know, a lot of information one day type thing.
Yep.
There are two things I'd like to do which kind of complement one another. First, out of curiosity, does this mansion have any of those like mounted cross swords with like a shield over it?
Sure. Let's say there's one in the big sitting room in the entry hall.
Oh, perfect. I was going to end up there anyway. I'm going to take that shield.
Okay.
Just because it's the kind of thing Gideon would do.
Just take it right off the wall.
Yep, take it right off the wall. So string it, toss it on his back so he's got a sword and shield. He's going to spend some time kind of roaming the house and just kind of investigating, tapping on walls, looking for any secret places as he's sipping his drink.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know how potent it is, rather than down it like the lush I appear to be to everyone, I'm just going to like ride my buzz, and whenever I feel it fading, I'm just going to take another sip.
Sure. You find a small pantry under the stairs. But nothing else as far as secret rooms.
Anything good in the pantry?
Fresh bread.
I'm going to grab a loaf.
Just grab a whole ass baguette.
Yep, and then I'm just going to go into the sitting room. I assume this is like a big fireplace over here?
It is, yes.
I'm going to make sure that the fireplace is going nicely, and I'm going to recline on the couch, lay my shield and my sword beside me, munch on my bread and sip at my drink and stare into the fire until I lose consciousness.
Not even bothering to head up to the bedroom.
Nope, I don't trust it yet.
Sounds good. Danielle, what are you up to?
I'll just go ahead and check out what's going on, and I assume this is like the kitchen, this blue and white tile on the inside of that.
Yes, there's a kitchen and like the primary pantry next to it.
See kind of after the food situation.
Okay, you're cutting in and out pretty badly, but I think what I caught was that you were looking at the food situation.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of food. It's a very well stocked kitchen, and the dishes seem to be doing themselves.
Like a couple of times, dishes doing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bake too?
Um, as you say that, you look to a small shelf where there are several like baked goods, a couple loaves of bread, and some pies. One looks like a meat pie, and one looks like maybe a cherry.
That is amazing. Woo.
All right.
Okay, well, I assured myself that we're not going to start. I'm going to head up to Brian's bedroom.
Sure, sounds good. All right. And Cecil, you mentioned you had one last thing?
Yes. Did my journal come across with me?
Sure.
Okay. Then, in between bits of drinks or sobriety, I guess, I am going to take out my journal, attempt to document what I can as far as what's happened since I last started scribbling about my encounter with Tachahunga. Document what happened to Atera. A little blurb about, I was a good friend and loyal companion, but not. A little section about not knowing what the next steps in my life will take me. I'll make a little blurb about little comments about each of the companions I've encountered, as well as the things that have been said about me in the quote-unquote future, or I should say about my history, I should say, and how I was surprisingly unfazed by it and uncaring. I'm surprisingly looking forward to the days ahead and looking forward to filling up this book and possibly filling up another one. And then I kind of go from there.
Sounds good. Night falls. Morning comes early. Most of you... I don't know, everyone make me a constitution check.
Oh, geez. I either slept really well or really shitty.
I'm a morning person.
Apparently. Danielle, what'd you get?
Sorry, I'm trying to find where to just hit it to roll the check, but it's a save.
It's not a save, it's just a regular... Should be just a regular check.
Ability check?
Yep. It's fine. It doesn't... It's really not, like, super important. Okay.
New platform, working on it.
That's fine. That's why we're rolling checks to see who wakes up first and not starting with something critical.
Oh,
The house
I
is
assumed
just
I was.
right.
I assumed I was saving for my hangover.
Not quite. Um, Gideon, you don't sleep well. Well, you never sleep well, especially not in a new place. You sleep pretty well considering all of the things that have happened, but you wake up fairly early to the smell of eggs and bacon and sausage and just food. Lots of food.
Do I still have my half loaf of bread on me?
Yes, your legs like hanging from your fingertips. You've like got crumbs all over your chest.
Not the worst place I've ever found myself in the morning. Is that food? I'm going to get up and head over to the dining room to investigate this food situation.
Sure. Cecil, you wake up at about the same time. Also to the smell of breakfast.
Okay. Ham, eggs, bacon,
Ham.
bread,
Yep.
and fish. I'm assuming.
No fish, but definitely the rest. Definitely more of an American fry up than an English one. But what can you do? At the table is your the woman you had spoken with the day before. Your caseworker? Question mark. She seemed to be more or less in charge of getting you to sign the contracts anyway. Coffee and tea are both on the table. She seems to be drinking something from a steaming cup.
Step in, or walk in, take my hat off. Realize it's probably the first time I've taken it off since I got there.
So, I'll be I have my weapons like stored on my back as I'm walking around the table, and I find a knife. I don't find a knife. I tear open the chunk of bread I have and just put a bunch of breakfast food in it. And as I'm eating it like a breakfast sandwich, I'll go over to the liquor cabinet we found, find a bottle of whiskey, and mix a little bit into a cup of coffee.
Sounds good.
Good morning, everyone. All right, fine, be that way.
Gina is, or the gnomish lady is judging you very harshly. Danielle and Marcus, this is about when you guys stumble down the stairs to the smell of breakfast.
Oh, what's that fine smell I smell?
I sniff myself. Nope, not me.
I smell
Well,
nice
I got-
bacon and ham and fresh bread.
Can you delete one of those tokens? Sorry.
Yes.
He's multiplying.
It's a special skill I have. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Mom.
You could try talking with your mouth not full.
More cord.
I would recommend talking with your mouth not full.
I'll take it under advisement.
You're a polite one, aren't you?
I lift my coffee to him in a little salute.
Marcus will take a place at the table. Is it like a buffet type thing?
Yeah. There's basically all of the large platters have been put out. It's enough food for everybody.
Yeah, so Marcus will just take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and put it in his plate, pour himself some coffee. As he kind of starts eating, he'll be like, so, what's on today's agenda?
Actually, that's what I'm here about. Your first mission came through the pipeline. I was wondering if you all would be interested in giving it a shot.
Well, I mean, I'm already dead, so...
It's all uphill from here.
Now, just out of curiosity, granted we died, we're here, and most of us have slept on chairs and whatnot. What is the state of our bodies? Are we
You're not
like?
undead. You
Well,
definitely
no,
feel
I didn't think
alive.
we were undead, but I mean, do it look like we have just been through hell, or do we look like we've been rebooted?
It looks like you've
You
been
know, we're
rebooted.
okay. We're at reset.
Well, you reset when you went to the waiting room. If you slept on a chair and drank all night, then you're gonna look like you slept on a chair and drank all night. Gideon
Right.
is in
I don't look
fact
like I've been in a cave
This
this whole time.
no, no.
That's the
Gotcha.
moment when the cinematic camera shows everyone looking over in Gideon's corner.
No, but yeah, you don't look like you've been in a cave for months or been spelunking or anything like that. Uh, Gina actually opens up a folder and lays out it's just a sheet of paper, and the mission on it seems to be very simple. It just says Hazel Pass.
Is that literally just all it says is Hazel Pass?
As far as you can see, if there's
Okay.
additional information on it, it might not be for your eyes.
Interesting.
Hazel Pass. I'm not quite familiar. Is that an island? Is in the Philippines? Is that more of a
No.
mountain or volcano? Is that a lost civilization?
Sounds quaint.
Actually, Gideon's right on this one. So there's 3 types of dimensions. There's full-size dimensions, there's pocket dimensions, and then there's bag dimensions. Size goes pocket, bag, full size.
Oh.
Hazel Pass is a bag dimension. It's fairly small. It only contains 1 town.
I think I'm going to need another cup of tea.
Let me guess. Does it go by the name Hazel Pass?
It does. We got an alert late last night that high levels of evil were coming from it. Higher than, outside of the bounds of what it should be at.
So is this like a civilization that's been lost in a bag? I'm confused on how this town or way or whatever got lost in a bag. How did that happen?
You're dead.
Cecil's really trying to wrap his head around the bag part.
It's more about the size.
Right.
If you want to call them small, medium, large dimensions, that also is, I guess, fine. This one's a medium-ish.
Oh, so it's not actually in a bag. Got it. Sorry. I'm just gonna sit over here, drink my tea, and try to figure this out.
So let me clarify. What is it that we actually do? I mean, I understand that we were dead. We're no longer dead. We signed some weird contract about adventuring and stuff. But what is it that we do? What is our missions, our jobs?
Our mission and our jobs is we are the Ministry of Balance. We monitor all of the known dimensions, and our job is to keep everything more or less within one or two standard deviations of the evil to good scale.
Okay.
If something tips too far towards evil, we send people to go fix it.
Oh god.
There's only one reason you hire Belmont, and it's to hunt something, so... Cheers. What exactly are we hunting?
That is for you to find out, actually. Part of the job is to go find out why this is pinging as going off the rails completely and solve the problem.
Fair enough. Do you have something to write with? Something to write on?
She pulls out a fresh notebook from like a bag and hands it to you with
Appreciate it. I wipe my hands on my cloak and begin to scribble some things down.
Okay, so to be clear, our job is to go to this town, investigate evil, and then once we figure out what said evil is, we are to eradicate that evil?
More or less.
Okay, seems easy enough. And how do we get to said town?
Here, these are two. This is a tuning fork, and she'll pull it out of her pocket. I'm going to give it to you as one of you three. And she points to everyone but Gideon.
I don't even look up from what I'm scribbling down.
Tap it once to go, tap it twice to come back. Very purposeful, not accidentally like jangle it, but like give it a good whack.
Like you were tuning an instrument.
Exactly.
Danielle is sitting right next to you. You might as well send it to her.
Okay. She hands it over to Danielle.
Accepting my hand, not holding my teacup.
Now, do we communicate with you while we're there? Do we have to get the, how do you say, the okay to fire from you? Or are we allowed to take the matters into our own hands if we're confident?
Take matters into your own hands. We expect you to solve it and then come back. And then write reports.
Reports. Fantastic. I take it that won't be Gideon's job.
Pardon?
You all have to write reports, unfortunately. And I will read them all.
Now, will there be liaisons there, contacts?
Nope, you're quite on your own.
People we should be asking for, or people we should be staying away from?
That's on you to figure out, actually. You're quite on your own. You'll figure it out. I have faith in you.
No, fair enough. That I think we can get. So, is there any description of this town? Do we have any information on it?
She picks out the paper, and you guys only see that the top says Hazel Pass, and she kind of tilts the paper back and forth. Says it is more or less similar to medieval England with sword and sorcery. So, fairly low-level magic and, normal medieval-y things, I suppose, and probably find some adventure. I mean, you'll be the adventurers, I guess.
Interesting.
Sounds
Okay.
good. When do we leave?
Whenever you're ready. There's clothes in your wardrobes that should be appropriate.
Clothes, weapons, armor.
Exactly. All that you might need.
I perk up at the sound of armor. No.
Right, Gideon, instead of stealing the decorations from the wall, you can use the things that we actually provided for you.
Right, about that. And I'll hold out the sheet of paper to her. Short notice, but whenever you get a moment, I'm going to need these things.
Right. So take a look over it. Well, I can put a requisition in for it.
It's a list of herbs and chemicals.
Sounds good.
When we go back and forth with the tuning fork, can we only get to go once, or can we go and come back multiple times?
It's really only the ones.
Okay, just wanted to ask before, we made an assumption that...
That's a good question, though. How do we return when the job's done?
We tap the tuning fork twice.
Oh, got it.
Once to go, twice to come back.
Alright, I'm going to check out this Alma situation. I grab a handful of bacon on my way out.
Okay.
Is there any other important information you think we should know before we leave? I mean, keep in mind this is the first time we are adventuring, as you would say.
It is, but I have faith in you, and this is not. This was a good starter mission that I found for you.
Fair enough.
Don't worry. I'm not throwing you into the deep end in some place like Faerun.
Excuse me?
Don't
What
worry
is
about it. It's a long story.
Faerun, you say?
It's one of the dimensions.
Fair enough. I guess I will go check my gear and come back.
Not that it's really going to affect anything, but how many groups have you sent out before?
Like on this particular mission?
In general. But yeah, this mission too.
This mission, none. You're the first ones to go. Hazel Pass doesn't usually make a lot of noise. Most of these small dimensions take care of themselves. As far as like active adventuring groups, we have about 5 at any particular time.
Not too bad. Takes another bit of bread. Another sip of tea. A little warm. Picks up his hat. Walks upstairs.
Okay. And you all find your standard adventuring gear that you picked in your closets and wardrobes and trunks.
So,
I'll change into a clean tunic, but I'll keep my own pants and tattered cloak.
Fair enough.
With the equipment, is there like an actual proper shield?
Yeah, like a real shield, not a
I
decorative
spend
one.
several minutes comparing the decorative and the actual shield, test the weight, knock them a couple times, and decide the actual shield's probably the better idea.
and Marcus grabs the crossbow, looks at it, and like, I guess it'll do. Gun.
I do pause in front of my mirror too, and just stare at my reflection and pull out the pendant that I found the night before and look at it. And just tuck it away, stare at myself again, and then head downstairs.
Okay.
I guess Marcus is. She said medieval time, so he's gonna dress in medieval time, Leia.
Yeah, there are several outfits hanging in the closet and one does look like it would be appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. So you get whatever stuff he needs to get, along with his magical item that he was allowed to pick. You should do just that. And you head downstairs where he said he would meet the rest of them.
Okay. Cecil and Danielle, any special preparations you're making?
No, just making sure he's taking the bag of holding, which I think with his size is more of a backpack of holding. And still taking his book. And just trying to put together an outfit that looks medieval yet still looks a little proper.
Okay. There are clothes in your closet that will do.
Right. I'm also just going upstairs, finding the appropriate period outfit, putting my things together, grabbing my magic item, and coming back down, making sure we have, at least enough food that we're not going to be immediately out of pocket for it.
Sure,
Since the kitchen's so well set up.
mark down 10 days of rations.
Will do.
Okay. And everyone's meeting and ready to go?
Alright, so let's waggle the magic fork and get on with it.
The sitting room or from the room?
I don't think it particularly matters where we go from.
Turn the fork against my now empty teacup.
Okay. You all feel slightly strange, like you're falling kind of fast.
Oh god, I'm drunk again.
You land. It's not painful.
Cecil worries he's dying again.
Let's see here. I'm gonna grab Gideon and put him on the map where you guys are.
Whoa.
Approximately land.
I am still.
I don't know
I'm still
what is
home.
up with you and why you're not going to the activate.
You know, I guess it's what I enjoy doing.
Okay, I'm right there with you, apparently. I was still stuck on the top of the stairs.
I'm showing
Let's
that
add
you're.
another token.
I'm showing that you're on the right map. I don't. The only one I'm showing is on the wrong map is Marcus somehow.
Yes.
I'm showing Cecil is on the correct map. Should be a bridge in the forest, the river.
I see a black box.
Yeah, you gotta put your token on the map.
There. Put you in the right spot. Is everyone on the right map now, or no?
I am.
I am still at home.
How
I
the...
really like home.
Can't make me go. Don't wanna.
I don't want to do it. Okay.
Oh great, we lost the American.
Have you had this problem before, Mish? Like, I don't understand what the hell is going on. I hit activate. Everyone should be on the same scene.
Yeah, I can't even switch. Like, I can't click on home and switch to a different map. Right?
John, try refreshing the page.
Alright. I can do that. Yep. Looks like I'm on Bridge Forest.
Yes.
Hey!
I even have a token there and everything.
I dragged you out hoping that would make you move.
Apparently it did the trick.
Sometimes it messes up on the user side, so a page refresh is it's kind of like resetting the computer. It's always the first thing that we should try.
I will make sure I do that from now on.
Okay. You all find yourself in a dense forest. You're on a path. In front of you is a bridge. There is kind of a shadowy figure standing on the other side of the bridge across from you.
Well, that was bloody interesting.
Can't say I've ever done that before in my life. But I've done a lot of things. Now, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to leave the navigation up to you, Gideon, as You are a person of this era? Or close to, anyways.
It was 1899 last I checked.
Well,
That's not the medieval era.
It's closer than me.
Bloody Americans.
Listen. You have the right accent.
As as I approach the bridge, I'll raise my hand to the stranger across the way. Oh, is this the road to what's the name of the town we're going to?
Hazel Pass?
The Hazel Pass.
It is. A gruff voice answers you from the other side of the bridge, kind of stepping it onto it. Kind of stepping into the middle of it, as if to block your path.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I heard there was some strange doings on and thought we'd swing by and have ourselves a look.
As you hear the sigh come from behind you.
Okay.
Don't suppose you have any insight on the matter?
As you walk, are you continuing to stride forward?
Yes, slower as I notice him moving onto the bridge.
This gentleman looks strange. He's got reddish skin, kind of a flat nose that's a little upturned, pointy ears, and a large frame. Anyone who wants to can roll me history, I guess, and see how well you know your fables.
Oh, I have to roll them.
Get on top.
I'm a bit hungover.
14.
14 as well.
Okay.
12.
Right, Marcus and Cecil, you recognize this as a hobgoblin.
Oh god, the fairy tales are true.
Well, if that truly is the case, then we must be somewhat cautious.
Are you gonna continue, Gideon, target, or?
Well, he asked, I asked if,
Yeah, he's not
Yeah,
answering
very
you.
good.
He's waiting for you.
Alright, I'm slowly crossing the street, the bridge. Hands kind of loose at my side so he can see them. Well, I don't suppose you've heard any rumors or anything, have you?
Town's had quite enough of strangers lately.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm sure everyone would just like to get back to their lives in peace, eh?
It's an understatement.
Perfect. Perhaps if you'd like to escort us then. Maybe you could bring us to your local constable who could fill us in on the deeds.
He looks at you a little incredulous. Roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
I mean, I wouldn't trust me either, but...
Yeah. He's definitely, like, squaring his shoulders. He's carrying a quarterstaff in his hand. He's not aggressive towards you, but he is definitely not not being obliging or letting you pass immediately.
Oh, come on, mate. I'm trying to do this the upfront, straightforward way.
Last time we had people come into town, offer to help. Didn't go very well. Strangers. Well, a stranger.
Really? What happened to him?
Kind of sniffs a little bit.
Huh. Well, it seems like he should be the one we should be speaking with then. Incidentally, mate, you might want to look into a hat. You're looking a bit sunburned.
Hold on, I gotta roll. Roll. I don't even know what, but that needs a roll.
An anger check?
Yeah. Temper check. Something.
All appropriate.
Liam has filled my dice box with stickers.
Roll for offense taken.
He doesn't. He looks like he's looking at you like. You know that look that cashiers get in their eyes when something doesn't ring up, and that you go, haha, must be free. That is in fact.
Yep.
Yeah, that feeling is the look on his face right now. He's just like, no. He is not amused by you, and you get the feeling he might not like you very much.
Oh, I'm used to this.
So Marcus will approach, placing his hand on his friend's shoulder and says, "Sir, I'm very sorry for my friend here. He is much too gruff at times. I promised you that we're only here to figure out what's going on, and that's it. We don't want to put a burden on you or your, I'm sure, friendly town, but we would also like to figure out what this stranger was trying to do and figure out who he is."
Right, that's what I
Shut up.
Marcus, you
I
can.
mean, if you want to try your hand at it, sure,
Marcus, you can roll me a persuasion check.
fine.
No disadvantage, right?
No disadvantage.
It's not horrible. That's 16.
Okay, yeah. He seems to look at you a little bit more obliging than Gideon. And nods. Gives you a stiff nod. You look like the capable sort. Most everyone is out searching at the moment, but head to the tavern. I think the mayor's still there.
Much obliged. Thank you, sir. And again, I promise you, he's just stupid.
Follow this road
Oh, then
straight.
you're on it.
Tavern's in the middle of town.
Thank you.
And
And
Mark
Mark-
asked the same thing.
Marcus waves the other two. Sometimes, Gideon, it's about the approach.
Right. Remember that hat, all right, mate? Continue to walk away.
I tell you, if someone else doesn't kill you, I just might.
Alrighty.
Cecil's been writing this entire conversation down in this book like a sociological study of like apes communicating in the jungle. It was just fascinating him to no end.
Sure. Alright, let's try this activate button again. What the hell? Oh, there's two. There's one. There, okay. Everyone should see the small village.
As soon as I put the token on the board, it's working.
It's a village.
Got interrupted by a phone call. It's all dark for me.
You gotta put yourself on the map, I think.
All right.
Yeah. Top left corner.
Top left, got Woo.
All right. Find yourself in a very small village. Dirt roads. As you walk in, you see a large church on your left. Nobody in it. Not even like a priest or anything. In the center of town, you see the tavern that was described. It's slightly bigger than the other buildings in this town, but not by much. This is very almost all of the village, all of the houses are fairly small. It looks like a peasant village, basically.
Huh. Somehow it's exactly as I pictured.
So he said down the road. Did he say it was the middle building?
He said it was in the center of town. Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Down the road. Center of town. Marcus will push his way through. Nobody's around, right?
This place is surprisingly empty.
Gotcha.
Like, as in recently empty, like Ghost Town empty, or as in like they're all just hiding because we walked in empty?
Like it's the middle of the day and everyone's doing something else. Empty.
Gotcha.
Does the village put off like a farming village, or
Very
just...
much a farming village. Yeah, it definitely seems like. Yeah, this feels like definitely pastoral.
Gotcha. All right. Then Marcus will follow the directions that the hobgoblin provided to him and head to the center building right. Aw.
Okay.
Praying that it says inn.
It does have a picture of a pint on it, so it is a safe assumption.
Then knowing that, feeling that it's in the middle of the day, he will approach the door and walk in.
Okay.
I'm right behind him. As I'm following him in, I'm kind of like checking my pockets to see, do I have any money on me?
You guys have you got a small patch of coins that you did not recognize.
Cecil totally
Thank you.
misinterpreting what these guys are doing. Gentlemen, I'm pretty sure we could get a drink later.
Well, haven't you heard, Professor? If you want to find out anything, the best place to go is where everyone swaps stories.
Ah, yes.
Or you go to the place where the previous gentleman told you the mayor's at, and you glean some information from the mayor.
Somehow the mayor disappeared, but sure.
That one too.
Right there.
I was about to give you points for paying attention, but... All right. Is it just the bartender in here?
Currently, yeah, there's the bartender behind the bar.
All right, middle of the day. Good day, sir. Could I have a tankard of ale, please?
He looks at you a little confused and then nods. Aye. Pulls a pint of ale and puts it on the bar for you. 2 copper.
I'll fish out 2 coins that I don't recognize and put them on the table.
Roll me a
useful.
perception check.
He's over 2
Perception,
platinum. He just
15.
bought the bar.
Okay, yeah, you pull out 2 copper coins and push them over. He takes them and puts them in a purse.
I'll since I noticed that he didn't like respond negatively or positively, I figure that's the right currency, so I'll fish out 2 more and put it on the table. So, my companions and I are passing through. We heard that there was some trouble.
I'll say. Not a great time to be an outsider in this town.
So we've heard. Last one go missing.
Quite the opposite. We're having a problem with very large rats in the town. The stranger came in, said he could get rid of the rats, no problem. So we said 15 gold, half up front, half when he was finished.
Doc ran off with the money, didn't he?
Well, no. He got rid of the rats, and he had a conversation with the mayor, and then all of the children went missing, and the rats came back.
Children.
Pied Piper.
And what of the stranger?
What's a Pied Piper?
Sorry. Nothing. Scribbling in his book.
Haven't seen him.
So far as anyone knows, the last person he spoke with was the mayor?
Last adult, anyway.
Huh.
And has anyone been looking for the mayor at all?
The mayor, he's in the next room. There's a meeting room there that they're using as a base of operations for the search. I think that he might have an accomplice in town. There were a few people who were posited as maybe being needing some questions asked of them.
I'll look over at Marcus and kind of incline my head towards the door. What was it you said of me? I'm more rough around the edges or some such.
Oh, you're telling me to go in there and discuss the matters with the mayor. Gotcha.
I'm just going to enjoy a drink with my new friend here.
That'd be the best idea.
I'll raise my drink and salute to the barman and take a sip.
Before I go in there, can I go in there first? I should ask. This is your establishment. I don't want to intrude on anything that.
Right. I'll walk you.
Fair enough.
He grabs a
Anything
coin bag and puts it in, attaches it to his belt.
So Marcus will reach in and grab what looks to be a silverish coin and hand it to him.
He takes it, looks at it, looks a little surprised, but nods and leads you through.
And Marcus will head into the next room.
Okay. He'll point to the door here. Basically, he's leading you through the kitchen to a meeting room.
Gotcha. Is there anything that I should know about your mayor that will help me with trying to glean some information on what is happening in the town?
He's a fucking snake.
He's a fucking snake. Some money.
He nods.
Gotcha.
Heads back to the bar.
And
Cecil is mumbling to himself this entire time, scribbling in his book and kind of looking up in the air, closing one eye, mumbling to himself, and down again, scribbling in his book again, scribbling it out again, put it in the air, desperately trying to remember something, writing it down, scribbling it out again.
Professor, you might want to sit in on that meeting. I'm guessing you might be able to glean some insight.
What? Meaning? Yes. Oh, yes. Right. Sorry. It's just something that's in my head. I know this. Something I've heard as a child.
It's through the door there.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Marcus will head into the meeting.
Okay.
Will Danielle be staying behind or following the others?
be somewhat torn on my decision.
I arch an eyebrow at her as I just lean over my drink. So about these suspicious-looking people.
The usual. There's an old crone on the north side of the village, on the outskirts. And, the miller has been surprisingly missing from all of this. The town's pretty whipped up, so very much an if you're not with us, you're against us type of vibe.
But, sorry, might I ask a question?
You're in the other room.
We're in the other room with the mayor.
That's,
They're in the other room with the
I
bartender.
thought we were talking to the mayor. Sorry.
Gideon and Danielle are talking to the bartender, and you and Marcus are going to
Gotcha.
talk to the mayor.
Sorry. Really lost in thought.
That feels appropriate for the character.
I'm trying not to look something up, but I know this story and it's driving me up.
I know, that's why I picked it.
So this crone north of the village, she been living there long?
Longer than any of us can remember. Always been a crone, always been north of the village. He kind of shrugs. Might not even be the same crone, but, I mean, I'm not the sort of person that goes there.
Can't blame you. Who would want to leave a nice establishment like this to visit an old crone, eh?
Has more women's magic.
Ah. And the miller, you said, has gone missing recently.
He's not missing so much as he just hasn't been involved. He kind of said it was our problem to deal with, and is just a bit fussy about the whole situation. He's a bit fussy in general, really.
Town's children goes missing and the miller thinks it's the town's problem, not his.
He nods. He's
Rather
a
odd man.
he's bit of a loner, that one. Like
And
most
he's not usually involved.
no, like most loners, he forgets which side of the bread his bread is buttered on. So
Must make it difficult to sell his wares.
when you're the only miller,
You can set your prices. Fair play.
he's never been unfair. He just is
Prickly.
never been a very generous fellow either.
I know the sort. Pity that, though.
He nods. But I am a tavern keeper, and it is very much my job to be a part of the town, so never really understood the folks that keep apart.
I grunt in acknowledgement as I throw my ale thoughtfully. These rats you mentioned, they appear everywhere in town, or?
Mostly the basements. Locked mine up because it's just unusable at the moment. In fact, if you want a free night's rest, kill a few of them for me and I'll give you a room. Kill a bunch of them for me, I'll give you a room with a bath.
Well, I think that's a fair trade. I'll look over at Danielle and back at the bartender and sit up a little straighter. I like to get a look at these things myself as well.
Fair enough. Let's wait for the rest of your people to come back from talking to the mayor. They're not a small problem.
So you said.
At that point, we will cut to the conversation with the mayor. He barely looks up as you all enter. He kind of just motions with his hand. If you have a report, please give it.
A report? No, I don't have anything of such. I'm actually looking into a matter of rats and missing children.
You and the rest of the town kind of looks up at you. It's a kind of sallow, black, got shaggy, salt and pepper hair that's kind of getting a little patchy at the top and back. Sallow skin. He's a little bit jowly. And kind of narrows his eyes at you as you enter, like he can't quite see you very well. You're not Jenkins.
I certainly am not. My name is Marcus, and this is my friend Cecil.
Kind of nods to both of you. Does not seem at all surprised about Cecil's height at all. Doesn't seem to faze him.
So I hear that you have a matter of a rat problem combined with missing children and a particular man who promised to get rid of them but never did.
He got rid of the rats, came back, demanded twice what we offered to pay him, and when we refused to pay him, he said, "We'll be sorry," and the next morning all the children were missing from the beds.
Now roll an insight check.
Sure.
That is a 12.
12?
Could I also
Yeah.
roll an insight?
Sure. Why are you rolling it with advantage?
I have it checked off.
Because you're rolling like 3 dice every time.
No, it's checked off.
Okay, give me a second. I need to look at your character sheet. Because you shouldn't have advantage on everything. Just so that it's checked doesn't mean you have advantage. It just means you add your proficiency bonus. Okay. Are you clicking advantage?
No, I just clicked. Well, it asked if I'm clicking. So I clicked insight.
Mm-hmm.
It says normal advantage, and because I have it checked, I clicked advantage.
Okay. So that check mark doesn't mean you roll with advantage. It just means you add your proficiency bonus. It just means it's a trained skill.
Okay.
You don't
But
get
keep
it.
in mind, this is the second time.
Oh, I know.
Ever
That's
I've
what
used
I'm.
this site.
Well, that's just D&D, but I'm happy to explain it. It's just that doesn't give you advantage. That adds your proficiency bonus. So you should roll normal.
Oh, I got a 6, so I don't
Okay.
think
Seems like he's on the up and up. It also doesn't sound like terribly out of the ordinary for a mercenary to do that.
Is there anything that you can tell us about this gentleman?
Kind of shakes his head. No, it didn't stick out that much. Wore yellow shirt, but kind of just shakes his head. Young fellow. Not from here, but some people aren't. We don't get visitors often in Hazel Pass, but he kind of just shrugs.
Did he provide you with any information about himself?
Said his name was Peter. He said he could take care of the rat problem. We weren't asking too many questions. Those rats were a menace.
Did they say where he took the rats?
Shook his head. No. be honest, I'm getting a bit suspicious of him. They showed up about 4 days before he did.
Did anyone happen to see in which direction he went?
No one saw anything. The entire town was asleep. Woke up. Everyone was gone. All the children were gone. Surprisingly little information. There's a few people in town that would question when things are a bit suspicious, but haven't really had a chance to talk to them yet.
Do you happen to have the names of these people?
Sure. Grabbing my notes.
No worries.
Master Phelan. That's the miller.
Phelan, F-A-L-Y-N, F-A-L-I-N.
Phaelen.
Where's that small? Oh, there it goes.
And he is the what? The miller?
Miller. And Widow Topple.
Guessing she's the crone.
And who is this widow talk?
Suspiciously old woman who lives at the edge of the city. Some say she's a witch.
But the maybe a
Had report she's a hag, but that seems a little far-fetched.
slash egg. Sorry. Added to my notes. And this Mr. Peter, he didn't give you any sort of bad vibes? You just made a deal with him and then decided not to pay him?
No, we paid him. He came back and demanded twice what we offered him.
So you paid him ahead of time.
We paid him 15 gold in advance, and then we were going to pay him 15 when the job was done. He came back and said the job was done, and if he wanted 30 gold to make sure the rats never came back. Otherwise, when he left, he'd just send them back.
Fair enough. Is there any points of interest that you have down? Any place suspicious that you think he might be? Caves, caverns?
Nothing off the top of our heads. Most of the village is trying to search the forest at the moment, but it gets a bit tangled and very easy to get turned around in that forest. Get more than a mile in and you can get a bit lost.
I'll keep that in mind. Well, I guess if that's all the information you have, and you're certainly not holding anything back. So, unless there's anything else that you can think of to provide me for information, I mean, I am trying to help your village.
If you find him and solve this problem, I'll pay you the 15 gold I was going to pay him.
Don't worry, we're on it. And Marcus will give him a polite nod and walk out the door.
Okay.
As soon as we're out of... wait till we leave the building.
Okay, well, we still have to go back to the bar. Well, he was full of a giant bucket of information.
How are you with rats?
Excuse me?
Rats. Are you scared of them by any chance?
No, rats don't bother me, but get me in a
Perfect.
pit of snakes, and that's a different story.
Huh. Duly noted. Right then, this fine gentleman has offered us a room for the night if we're able to deal with his rat problem in the cellar. Considering the rats are involved in this mess somehow, I thought it'd be worth taking a look.
Not all the rats have been removed.
No, they came back.
It was the children that were removed.
The rats were removed. Then
The children were removed, and then the rats
got
came
it.
back.
Yep, got it.
rats replaced the children, essentially. Ooh, we gotta be careful what we do. That might be a thing.
The barkeep looks horrified.
I wouldn't count on it. The rats were here first, after all.
What the...
Surprisingly, to Gideon's words, he looks slightly relieved, which might be the first person in the universe who looks slightly relieved after Gideon said something.
Well, I guess show us your pest problem and we'll see what we can do.
He nods. Right then, back through the kitchen.
I down the last of the ale as I get up to follow the others.
That hatch there, he points to the corner where you see a small hatch. It's not locked, but it's barred to keep them from coming up any further. Kind of just ceded the basement to them for the moment. If you can get rid of them with minimal damage, I would be very appreciative.
How many are there exactly?
Somewhere between 3 and 9. I didn't exactly state a count.
3 and 9. Okay.
That's a great deal of difference depending on the size of the rats.
And this may sound like an odd question, but the number of rats that returned, they didn't seem to have duplicated at all, have they?
No, not particularly. There were a lot of
As far as you could tell, the same number of rats returned as had left.
There were a lot of rats, and then they left, and then a lot of rats came back.
Okay.
Gives you a nod.
How big are these rats exactly?
Kind of holds his hands out and motions to the size of medium-sized dog.
Oh, fantastic.
Are you shitting me?
A fucking wolf rats?
I look over at Danielle. You don't have any problems with rats, do you?
Fucking rats. The rat size of dogs. That's you, Jill. You're Danielle.
I'd say I appreciate them being that big, but it seems to be a universal conclusion.
Oh
You
no,
don't appreciate them being that big.
I'm usually fine with rats. You get to know them quite well when you end
That
up
size,
in
I'm
them.
a,
But
that size, I'm a bit
that
of a snob.
is considerably larger than the rats I'm accustomed to.
They are unusually sized.
They're the size of a fucking dog.
Could we please stop saying that? Remember, I'm a bit closer to that size.
All right, well then, I'll move past Cecil and draw the long sword from his scabbard.
Bartender
Marcus-
steps back.
Marcus will step back, motioning to Gideon.
All right then, down here.
I got you
Pulls out
back.
his boomerang immediately wonders why he has a boomerang.
Right. Please don't burn down my bar.
No fire, understood.
He nods. It's a stone room, so you can do a little bit of fire, but be aware there's giant casks of alcohol.
I'd also like to point out that I'm going to be down there, so I would prefer no fire as well.
But I'm gonna be right behind
It's definitely
I'm
out.
so relieved.
you. As Marcus pulls out his crossbow.
I'm going to unbar the trapdoor,
Okay.
fling it open. All the income free, and then I'll drop down.
Sounds good. And on that note, since I'm not going to start combat at 9 o'clock at night, we're going to end it for this week.
I mean, they are just rats.
Yeah, they're just rats.
So we're going to end it for
Rat.
this week. And
Rat, they are a mount for me at this point.
I mean, a rat could definitely kill us in 2 hits.
yeah,
So-
y'all are still low enough level where a rat fight is.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
You get more one room, you fight stupid rats.
I think in the Gilneas game, the first time the party went up against like a swarm of insects, a swarm of spiders, someone
Spiders.
nearly went down.
Murdered by spiders. Yeah.
You know,
Okay, I think I'm getting my nursery rhymes mixed up. Right?
No.
Desperately
this is...
trying not to mix it up, but there's 2 or 3 stories about the Pied Piper, if I'm remembering them correctly.
Mm-hmm.
One, the Pied Piper doesn't get paid, and then comes back, takes the kids, and takes them someplace else, and they live a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing. And then there was one where he takes the kids off and then turns them into rats, which is why I asked if
Mhm.
the numbers of rats had duplicated so that we're not killing the kids.
mm-hmm.
But then there was one, I think it was along those lines, where if you break his flute, that's supposed to return the kids to normal, but that dealt with along the lines of he was turning their kids into rats. I think that's something to do with, he did bring the rats to begin with, and they were kids from other towns. I don't know, I'm getting all my stories confused.
At the risk of giving you all too much information and spoiling it, I would not put you in a situation where you could accidentally murder a child.
I know.
So,
That's fine. That's why I'm not worried about killing the rats. I know
Yeah.
they're gonna do that. so-
because that's a squick for me. So,
Yeah,
don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I know I've known Heather long enough to know that that is not something that Heather would do.
Like, damn, we're starting this story out dark.
I mean, it's a dark fable, but don't
It
worry,
was-
I won't go that dark.
Just a joke when I said.
Oh yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry. Alrighty.
All
Well-
right. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you
and
very
we
much
will
for game. Looking forward to
Next week, right?
next week.
Yeah.
Same bat
Losing
time, same bat
consciousness,
channel.
Same rat time.
Same rat time, same
Uh.
rat channel. That's gonna be the name for next week's game, by the way.
Wonderful. Have a good night, everyone.
Night.